Okay. So I rant a lot to myself, and I finally told myself, if you're not going to share, shut the fuck up. So I'm gonna share some stuff. Now, here we got governmental stages of progression, because we are at the end of a chunk of one, and let's take a look at the cycle. The cycle pretty much goes: you have an imperial mode, which is usually totalitarian. You have a capitalist mode because you go imperial to make money. You steal shit, you abuse people, you make stuff, you sell it, you get rich. After a while, you hit a consumer mode, which starts either by you're fat enough and you stop pushing, and everybody starts getting rights, and you start treating everybody better, and because you can, altruism. Or you hit a devastation. Devastation is more like what used to happen: plague, pestilence, war, famine, drought, just, death. Shit that takes your resources and consumes them. Your consumer mode is not always fun, and it actually being a fun thing for anybody aside from the oligarchy is a very new concept. But after that, it returns to a totalitarian bit, or the whole thing crashes. Now, people think differently when they're starving, and starvation is generally very, very much avoided in modern day. The French Revolution would not have happened if it weren't for starvation. But, anyways, after you run out of all that money, though, the easiest way to get the money back is go back to some kind of imperial totalitarian bit where you can just abuse the shit out of people. And the easiest way to do that is a communist dictatorship. I mean, there's military dictatorships, but we're way too big for that. There's monarchs and feudal. I don't care what y'all say about Trump. He's not the kind of guy to be like, I'm the king. Um, he's just not. I think he's tired of being picked at. Just, yeah. Um, or you got what England did, which was reignite their capitalism bit. They just hunkered down, sucked it up, and paid their bills until they were all right again. So you don't have to necessarily crash, but you can. Um, yeah, it just goes back and cycles all the way around again. Expand, subjugate, and this, that, the other. So let's look at capitalism, right? Now, if you go back into a dictionary, which I have a collection of them, 1937, capitalist is just a man who has capital or wealth. Somebody who's got money. That's what capital is. It's a pile of money. Capitalism, by 1958, became a system based on private property, competition, and production of goods for profit. Notice the production of goods for profit. That's the important part of capitalism. Um, Number two is the concentration of wealth with its power and influence in the hands of a few people. Now, that is your World Economic Forum people. And definition three goes back to your possession of capital. If you have money, you're a capitalist, and that's just that. Uh, then by 2007, capitalism, an economic system in which natural resources and means of production are privately owned. Investments are determined by private decision rather than by state control, and prices, production, and the distribution of goods are determined mainly by competition in a free market. Now, that's when shit gets funny, because that's when we entered our consumer stage, because it goes production and distribution. You'll notice the production got shipped out of the country, the distribution stayed in the country. So the money gets consolidated in the hands of a few people, like those economic forum motherfuckers. And that's kind of how it goes. Now, capitalism, it's pretty much just private business, whether it's a white market or a black market. Now, an empire needs money. Businesses make money. They either work together or they fight with each other. Now, in communism, they fight with each other because the communism wants all the money. In capitalism, they get along because, there's enough for everybody. So they spread it around until it's just them. Um, but either way, when the money flows between the government and the private businesses, totalitarianism gets weaker and weaker, and things get better for people. After all that work, though, we just kind of sit back and relax, which has your more money, less work bit, which caused the union protests back in the 60s and 70s. Well, in the 70s mostly. They were just trying to keep up the Vietnam protests or something. So they protested their money, which created minimum wages and other things that are actually very bad for economic bits. But, The bosses said okay, paid it for a while, shipped the jobs off, and we both consume everything we have until it's all gone. Now, consumerism. It doesn't really show up in the earlier ones. It not like it does for this bit. So consumerism in concern for or protection of the consumer's welfare. Consumer, one that consumes, one that buys and uses economic goods. The whole one that consumes thing, it always makes me think of the dead walking the earth, consuming everything for the living. And with religious shit, I could get into that and fucking argue like a mug all day long. Probably towards the same direction a lot of you people are arguing towards. Um, and then definition 3. An organism requiring complex organic compounds for food in which it obtains by preying on other organisms or by eating particles of organic matter. Doesn't that kind of sound like the whole like super rich snotty food bit? I mean, I used to do culinary, so I'm kind of food snotty. But you need really crazy food items that you obtain by preying on other people because you're a consumer. And they mistake the consumer for the capitalist. Capitalist has money and tries to make more. The consumer has money and is devouring it every bit as fast as they fucking can because heaven knows they aren't getting any more anytime soon. And when we've made runs, well, yeah, how's it? Pretty much shit breaks down, goes back to the start. Now, like I've said, communism is the easiest way to break shit down completely and totally, just trash stuff out. People say it doesn't work. It fucking works. It works amazingly fucking well. I think the problem with the whole communism doesn't work argument is that you guys, you look at the metric wrong. You think it does what it says it does. Now, let's take a look at just the definition of the word communism through the dictionary and then go into the whole bit. Because in 1937, it was the doctrine of a community of property. Yep. 1958, a system by which the means of production and distribution are owned and managed by the government and the goods produced are shared by all citizens. But by 2007, a social system in which property and goods are owned in common. Also, a theory advocating such a system, a doctrine based on revolutionary Marxian socialism, Marxism and Leninism, that was the official ideology of the USSR, or a totalitarian system of government in which a single party controls state-owned means of production with the professed aim of establishing a status system. Totalitarian system that professes to do good shit. Yeah. Now note totalitarian and professed aims. And it's tale as old as time. You preach prosperity while robbing people blind. And it works. I mean, never in all my time have I seen anything that more effectively stripped away people's property, wealth, rights, protections, and they do it themselves. They fight to give all this shit back. And then, as they give up their weapons, they put themselves back in chains and go back to the plantation or the commune to get back to work, which is what they were fighting for the right to do, anyways. Come on, we want to work, we want to work, we want to work. Yeah, you gonna work, bitch. You asked for this, you get it. Now, look, for the Bolsheviks, they went to the Gulag, right? For the PLA, they're actually in communist China for the most part still. They didn't get killed off, but they're in low-tech areas. They're happy. They started off as farmers. They're still farmers. The Khmer Rouge went to the killing fields. North Korea, dude, prison experiments from North Korea are fucking. Some of the shit during Kim Jong-il, yeah. But you look at North Korea versus South Korea because that was the bet. That was the argument. That was the bit to like dispel communism forever. But the problem is, the people want South Korea. The government and the oligarchy, they want North Korea. Godlike power, unquestioned authority. Like, fuck yeah. Like, what do you not like about I can fucking blow your head off in front of everybody in the fucking place, and you know what? You will fucking obey me or die. Like, isn't that a fucking god trip like a motherfucker? Like, so I mean, when you have people who want power, they want power. When you have people who want freedom, they want freedom. But this earth has both of us, and let's face it, price of freedom is vigilance, not obedience. Oh, that just got knocked out of my hand. Yeah, I don't like. It doesn't like when I say don't obey. Now they want slaves, and I don't want to do it. I don't want to go that direction, and I am not okay with that. One of the other bits with the Bolshevik, the PLA, the Khmer Rouge, even the North Korean army. The big bit is what the fuck do you do with the revolutionaries after you're done? Because once they see that you're a lying sack or whatever, they're gonna revolt against you. Well, with this really gay one, guess what? They're just gay. They have no family. They're completely uh, isolated. Like the community doesn't talk to anyone outside of itself. You can wipe them off the planet and nobody'd even notice outside of their community because, like many other communities, they pissed off everybody outside of them and they just stick to themselves, which makes them really easy to manipulate into doing some dumb shit to, well, yeah, y'all got eyes. Y'all been watching. I'll share some more later, and yeah.